They say it's a big rich town. I am singing the wrong theme song. What's up, y'all? This is Ty. How y'all doing? I'm singing the wrong theme song. That's the original Powers theme song. But what's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. This is season 2, episode 10. This is the season finale, and tonight's episode, I believe it's the season finale. And tonight's episode is titled, If You Don't Know, Now You Know. But before I get into this episode, I have to give a shout out to my lovely subscribers that hold me down in the comment section. And I'm talking about folks like Savannah Rivers or More, Tanacy, R.C. Kroger, Kryptonian Black, Jewel Winfield, Simply Be Yourself 100, Nadine Harris, and all the rest of you wonderful, wonderful people. But I got a comment here I wanted to share with y'all from a new subscriber, and that was from a woman named Goodness Brown. And she said, I had to subscribe. With an intro like that, I need to play one of your videos every morning I wake up. Looking forward to my first review. And then she went on to say she is a subscriber for life. She loved it. I really appreciate you, Miss Goodness Brown. Thank you for joining us and subscribing, and tell your friends, and tell a friend and tell a friend. Let's keep this channel going and growing. And all of y'all that have been holding me down, I do appreciate it. You're making it so much fun for me to do. So now with all that being said, let's get right down to this review. Let's start off with Sam the crackhead. Now, we saw last week, Marvin gave Sam some money, told him, listen, get on up out of town. You run your mouth too much. We need you to get up out of town. I gave him some money. But, of course, we knew this crackhead wasn't going to do that. We knew he wasn't going to leave town. But here's my thing. So now Marvin finds him at the crack house. You couldn't go to a different crack house, Sam. You couldn't go to a different area. Like, you could have at least took the train to Brooklyn and found another crack spot or something. Why did you... Why did you come back and go right back to the sea? That's a crackhead for you. So he sees Marvin killed the crackhead next to him. Then he's like talking, well, let me just get this. I'm going to leave. I promise. I got my ticket right here. Nah, bro, it's too late. So he's like, you know what? Let me get my last. He's a true crackhead. Let me get my last whiff of this crack. And then he goes on to tell us something we didn't know. He said, did you know that, y'all like my shirt? I am Dad Goals. He said, did you know? He said, I was an accountant back in the day. I was an accountant back in the day before I got hooked up on this crack. Can you believe it? They was trusting me with their money. So rest in peace to him. Before he could finish his little speech, bang, Marvin killed him. So that was that. But like I said, dude, you could at least went to another neighborhood. If you didn't want to leave the city, you didn't want to leave you could have went to another borough, did something, but you're going to go right back to the same. Okay, all right. We also see Unique having a conversation with Rock, and I like that conversation, and I like the character of Unique. I like him. I like his whole attitude. Now, he's Joey Badass, the actor who's playing. He's a rapper in real life too. Who's playing the character is really doing a great job. He's smooth with it. I just like the way he portrays the character of Unique. So anyway, he's telling her, listen, Sal's coming after you. He is coming after you, and there's going to be some blood. And so when he says all of that, he also says to her, but you ever thought about, you ever looked at me in a way like you want to get at the kid? He's shooting his shot. And I was like, yo, you got to love him. That was so cool. And she had to remind him. She said, listen, now you don't remember, not too long ago, we were trying to kill each other. So where you coming with this? He was like, this is just like co-workers and at the water cooler. She said, ain't no water cooler here. But she did give him a proposition saying she wanted to work with him in another business. And he was like, nah. No, I'm, respectfully, no. Meanwhile, while that's happening, let's move on over to Famous and Kanan. Famous is telling Kanan, dude, you've been staying here a lot because, Kanan's still upset with Rock. You've been staying here a lot. You're going to have to cough up some rent. I'm like, you saying it's like you some bill payer, like you got it all under control. But, he does need some help. So he's like, listen, Kanan, I need some help with this and I need you to help me. And Kanan says, listen, we're gonna have to start pushing, we're gonna have to start selling. And uh Famous was like, what, selling what, ass? We ain't got nothing. I thought that was funny. But he's basically saying, we gotta hit these streets and sell that crack. Where we gonna get it from? Sell these drugs. Meanwhile, while that's happening, we learned that Aziza, Lulu's artist, she's a real Patrice Rushen out here in these streets. She out here making her own beats and stuff like Patrice Rushen. She composing her own music, and it sounded the thing she played for him kind of sounded like it sounded like Mary J's Real Love a little bit, like the piano reminded me of that slightly. So that was her playing her music. She's all excited about that, and she mentions how her family is nervous for her because Crown was killed, and she's like, they thinking that being in this business may get me killed, and that's not gonna happen. She mentioned something like that. Meanwhile, a scene that I enjoyed, we seen Jukebox confront the boy from her mama's church that went out on a date with her. She said, "You set me up, didn't you?" And she beat his ass. I mean, she beat it, and he said, "Well, no, I only did this for a favor for you. You told him my mother on me, didn't you?" And he said, "No, I only did a favor for you, and you was nothing but ugly." I think he called her ugly dyke or something. She beat his ass. The police saw this, arrested her, took her to the precinct. Meanwhile, we see the Italian Sal going over to some pet shop, aquarium store that sells fish tanks and aquariums and all that, which I love. I'm a big fan of stuff like that. And who's there but Stefano, played by Tony Danza? Who don't love Tony Danza? But he's pretty much the big boss. Y'all remember him from Who's the Boss, right? And Taxi. I know I'm dating myself now. But he's here, and he's like the New York side of town. And so Sal goes to him and saying, "Listen, I had this issue." And they're making their little racial remarks, and Stefano told him, "Listen, your little Tootsie Roll already came up in here, and she told me what was going on. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want no moolies. I don't want to be involved in all that. Handle it, and handle it quickly." But he said, "Hey, one thing though. She bought a nice fish tank and this and that and the third." So Stefano's like, "Sal, you're going to have to do that." He gave him his condolences for his son. I still say Sal is in the wrong because your son took a job and failed at it. So you shouldn't be wanting blood from Rock and her people. But now he has Stefano's telling him, "Listen, we ain't got nothing to do with that. So that's going to be between y'all. Keep us out of it and make sure you stay on your side and stay in New Jersey. Don't come over here with that." Meanwhile, Marvin catches Kanan taking drugs, stealing the supply so that he can sell it. And he says, "You know what? What are you doing? What do you think?" He said, "Well, it ain't stealing when it's yours." And he's like, and another thing Marvin told him, he said, "Well, listen, I'm going to have to let your mother know about this." He said, "I don't give a..." He don't give an F. So he's still pissed off with his mother. He's like, "I don't give a F. I'm doing this. I'm taking this." And that's what it is. And then we see the young man that the young man that Famous shot. He's being questioned. The young man that Famous shot and killed his neighbor, an elderly man who clearly saw what happened. That must have been him at the door saying he ain't seen nothing, he don't know nothing. And when the detective asked him those questions, he's like, "I don't know, I don't remember nothing." And he throws the card. That's going to come back. I know that's going to come back. We know there's going to be something going on with that. But what's interesting here now is like this war between Sal and Rock is going to get ugly. And the good thing that Rock is banking on is, okay, we can handle this because Sal can't get the Stefano's people. They already said they're not getting involved in this. So we're going to have to handle this on our own. Blood may be shed, but listen, we can handle this. That's what she's saying. I'm like, wow, she's a tough cookie. Meanwhile, stupid Burke gets on my nerves. Burke and Howard are together, and they find Sam shot up and dead. And he's like, "This was crackhead stuff." Howard's like, "This crackhead stuff, why we worried?" She said, "But there could be more because he said he was a witness. He was a witness to who shot you." And she said, "Yeah." And Howard said, "Yes." And we brought him in, and he gave the wrong answer then. So why are we bothering him? What were you trying to bother him now? What are you getting at? And she said, you tell me. Now, see, this woman, she just is barking up the wrong tree. Burke didn't listen to her girlfriend when I told her. She ain't listening to the captain when he told her. Stop it. Fall back. Just stop. But, people can't help it. Then we see Burke bail Laverne out, aka Jukebox, and she's asking her all types of questions. She's like, so, is Howard Kanan's father? And Jukebox was like, what are you talking about? She's like, DEF CON is his father. What are you talking about? Get out of here. But she does tell her, she says, listen, I know I owe you, but I'm going to tell you something. She says, you need to watch your back because they're coming after you. So clearly the people you rocking with ain't rocking with you. And so I'm like, Bert, listen to her, because basically what she's trying to tell her is that whole thing, because remember, they're trying to investigate her because that whole thing, they're looking into the cops. The internal affairs are trying to look into Burke because Nicole's father believes, because he was tipped off by the cops, that Burke has something to do with his daughter getting drugs and overdosing, which we know is not true. And so Laverne tells us, he says, listen, watch your back. Please watch your back. Let's just watch your back. You need to watch your back. So after that happens, you see Detective Burke go to her girlfriend, and she's like, oh, this little girl told me this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And the girlfriend's like, oh, you worried about a teenager, this, that, and the third. Now she's shook. But you should be, because you're doing too much. You just need to shut up. You need to stop. And that just doesn't stop her, which I just don't understand. She just doesn't, like, we see her tonight. She stops Kanan while he's selling drugs. Fame gets away. She grabs him, takes him to the scene of the crime, and tries to get him to admit that Howard is his father. And that's why you shot at him, right? Because you're mad because he's your father and this, that, and the third. And he said, what are you talking about? So he resisted and argued with her. And then she now says, well, now I'm arresting you for possession. Oh, even though he didn't have any drugs on him. Somehow he managed to push her off of him and run. And she's like, you may get away from now, but you're not going to get away. And I'm like, oh, my God. Burke, chill out. That is going to be crazy. It's like that is... Oh, she's just ridiculous. I don't know. And speaking of that, with that situation, Laverne ends up telling Nicole's father that, listen, it was not Detective Burke that gave your daughter or me the drugs. She got those drugs from me, and I didn't know she took it, and I didn't know she used it, and that's how she died. It is not Detective Burke's fault. Of course, him being a grieving father, he feels like Laverne Jukebox is scared because she doesn't want to deal with the police, so she's making the story up. She's like, listen, I wish I was lying to you, but I'm telling you the truth. I know it's horrible, but that's what really happened. So she's telling him that's what really happened. We also see tonight, Lulu found out that Rock owns him still because she owns Crown's portion of Bulletproof Records, and he is furious. And was that not a powerful scene between the two of them when he went and confronted her about the whole thing? But I'm noticing this is the same thing that happened last season at the end of the season, where she had to remind him, dude, I own you. I basically own you. But I thought that was a powerful scene between the two of them where he's saying, well, all the things that I did for you, and he's mentioning going to the Italians and this and that and all that. And she just pretty much, she told him, she said, you think you're getting out, but there's no way to get out too. You're stuck. You're stuck with me, and I pretty much own you. I thought that was an extremely powerful, powerful scene. And, things are getting to her. She's getting really upset because, this was crazy what happened too. Tremont done double-crossed her and made his own deal with Joaquin and Juliana, and she was furious. But what that dude don't know, I said, he better watch out, because Rock is not one to be played with. So he's like, no, here's your money for getting rid of Cartier, but we don't want no middleman. We don't need you in this either. But I think we're going to see some of that happen. They're going to catch that up in season 3 because nobody crosses Rock and gets away with it, which is what we're learning. And these people need to learn that. And then did y'all see when Rock went to Juliana and Joaquin, how Juliana was behaving? I'm like, oh, she done got brand new. And Joaquin, and then, what's his name was like, listen, let's go before we say anything too bad, whatever. And she told us, she said, you're not the you don't have your weight up. You're not the right. I'm paraphrasing, but she said, you're not built for this. Basically, is what she told us. She said, you're not in the right weight class. You think you know what you're doing. And her cousin told her, she said, she's dangerous. And she said, so am I. Okay, Juliana, we're gonna see about that, because I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think that was smart at all. Then we also saw I should go back a little bit with the whole Rock thing and the Rock and Lou thing. What a powerful scene that was, because remember when he said, who carried you when, with the Italians, and who killed Scrap? And she had to tell him, we killed Scrap for nothing. Scrap was not even a snitch. That was a great scene. Again, I must say that was a great scene. I just had to put that back in there, and how she told him she owned him. Then we see Howard, Detective Howard, and Kanan. Kanan goes and tells him, listen, your partner, she thinks she knows everything. He said, no, she don't know everything. She's trying to figure it out. He said, but me, you, and Rock gotta sit down and talk this out and figure this out. That's what Detective Howard told him. So they're going on their way to meet up to see Rock, because they're like, we gotta figure this out. We gotta get our story straight, because Burke ain't letting up. Now, I'm telling you, this was such a good episode, y'all. While all of that is going on, Sal in the bowling alley, he puts on his music. I knew right then, when they play that music, and I said something about to happen. There's a mind, oh, what a night. And back in. So that's playing. I said, something is about to go down. So while that music is playing, you see Unique's place get hit. His folks get shot up and killed. He looks to have survived. I don't believe Warrell survived that. But, what a powerful scene that was. And at the same time, we see Marvin, the spot Marvin's at, got they went after that. The Italian Sal wasn't playing. He struck all of them at the same time. And then he went and struck Bulletproof Records, shot up that. Lulu survived, but unfortunately, it looked like Aziza might be dead. I was like, wow, what a scene that was. And then you see with Marvin, got shot, his gun jammed. He's trying to get away. He's trying to knock on doors. And who opens their door for him? But the guy in the wheelchair. And if y'all remember a few episodes back, that's the same guy in the wheelchair that they kind of got into a few words, but he Marvin woosawed, and didn't do anything to him. Good thing he didn't, because now the dude looked out for him, and he was able to hide in there. Now we get to Rock's house, and who's knocking on the door but Kenya? And Rock pulled out her gun like, who's knocking on the door? Kenya's like, listen, I want to speak to you, mother to mother. I know this is a surprise, blah, blah, blah. And Rock is like, hold on. How'd you get past my guys? They didn't stop you. And then she noticed her guys are dead. And then soon she's like, get down. Bah, 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 bah. The Italians done shot up. It looks like Kenya's dead. I hope she survived, but I think Kenya's dead. Kenya gets shot. And then Rock gets hit a little bit. And then Rock goes in, and she managed to shoot one of them. And then she's about to get shot. And she does get shot in the shoulder. And she's like, finish it off. And as the Italian goes to finish it off, he ends up getting shot. Who kills him? But Unique. So now there's Unique and Rock. I like that. I like the way that ended like that. Now there's him and Unique and Rock. And he's like, South Side. And they come outside the house. And as they're coming out the house, here comes Kanan and Howard. And that is the way the episode ended. And I was thoroughly impressed. I enjoyed this whole season. This has been a solid season, just like last season. This show is well written, well acted. These folks are talented. There's so much connections on here. Before I go, another scene I like before I close it up. Marvin and Jukebox's scene at the house, when he told her that we got to look out for each other. We're all we got. Those two always keep having these good scenes together, just powerful mother and father and daughter scenes, just great stuff. So that was great. So I just wanted to throw that in. But yes, I enjoyed this episode. I cannot wait. I believe this was the season finale. I cannot wait to next season to see what they do. So well written. That's all I have for now. You guys tell me your thoughts down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you when in the next video.